Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Crazy Ninja with the G, and I'm here today with another deck profile for you guys. You guys really liked the Destiny Hero one that I did, so I said, hey, you know what? I'll do another one for you guys. This one is my junk slash Synchron deck, I guess you could say. I love this deck, guys, honestly. It's one of my favorite decks I've ever built. Probably the best deck I've ever built, and really enjoy it. So let me get into it for you guys, and I'll break it down for you. So, because it is a Synchron Synchro deck, their monster count is pretty high. These are all monsters. So, be prepared for that. Obviously, you can make your own adjustments, but I've found that this deck, any situation I've come across, I've been able to counter in one way or another. That's just at least from my personal experience, but I love this deck. So, anyway, here we go. So, we got 3 Junk Synchron. If you don't know what he does, when this card is normal summoned or special summon, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your graveyard in defense position, face up defense position, and that monster's effect is negated. But you get level 2 from the graveyard, level 5 Synchro right there, unless you have more guys in the field, higher. So he's pretty good. You kind of want 3 of him because this is basically a junk extra deck when it comes to Synchros. So yeah, kind of important. Then we got 2 Quick Draw Synchron. I like Quick Draw a lot. Level 5, not bad. You can send one monster card from your hand to the graveyard and special summon this card from your hand. And then this card to be used for any specific Synchron monster. So he can become Junk Synchron if you need him to. So he's pretty cool that way. But yeah, level 5 is not bad to get a higher level Synchro monsters out. So he's pretty good for that. Then I run one Road Warrior. You could if this card's used for a Synchro summon of a monster other than Road Warrior, its level is reduced by 2, so this guy becomes level 2 tuner, Road Synchron. Becomes level 2 tuner instead of level 4. If it's not Road Warrior, he's getting. But I use him occasionally. But honestly, a 1600 beater at level 4 is not that bad. So sometimes just use him for that, but it works out. And I got 1 Turbo Synchron also. Turbo is not bad either because I do have Turbo Warrior in this deck. Interesting effect if you don't know what he does. When you take battle damage while this card is attacking, you can special summon one monster from your hand with attack equal to or less than the battle damage you took. So you kind of take a hit to deal out some more damage by getting the other guy on the field. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's not the best effect in the world, but he's level 1 and he's a tuner, which matters for later in the deck, I'll explain. So, kind of cool. Then a newer card, you got Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron is interesting. This card's into the graveyard as Synchro material. You can add 1 junk monster from your deck to your hand. If this card's in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and special this card. They'll banish it when it leaves the field. So, kind of a recycling card, actually, in a way. I only run 1 of them. I don't see another use for more than 1. But again, level 1 tuner. So, interesting. I'll explain why that's important later with other cards in the deck. But, not a bad way to get junk, Synchron out again, or whatever you really need. So, kind of sets you up that play a little bit. And then got 1 Debris Dragon because Debris Dragon. And that's it for the actual tuners in the deck. And there's one more, but it doesn't really count. You'll explain why, or you'll see why in a second. I will explain why. Anyway, we got 3 Speed Warrior. I love Speed Warrior. Level 2, not bad. Easy to get out with junk. Synchron's effect. This guy's effect is during the battle phase of the turn you normal summon this card, you could double its original attack. 1800 beater. Level 2, 1800 attack. That's not too bad. So, yeah, 3 of him. Got 2 Quillbolt Hedgehog. Quillbolt's pretty good also. This is a really clever card, actually. If you control a face-up tuner monster, special this card from your graveyard. If the card was summoned this way, remove it from play when it's removed from the field. So you get an extra use out of it if it's in the graveyard, which is not bad. It brings itself back. So if you have, for instance, you discard this guy to get Quick Draw out, you use Quick Draw, then this guy comes back level 7 Synchro in the first turn if you draw both. So that's pretty good for first turn. But yeah, it's just one of the combinations. There's a lot you could do. This deck is very I should say, I don't know, customizable. I don't know. But you could do pretty much whatever you want to with it. There's a lot of different, a lot of leeway options for it. So definitely something to keep in mind. We got 1 level warrior. Clever because you become level 2, 3, or 4 depending on the situation. So it's kind of helpful for tuning. Along with that idea, we got 1 level eater also. We got 1 Sonic Warrior. Sonic Warrior, if this card's into the graveyard, all level 2 lower monsters you currently control gain a 500 attack. Level 2, sometimes use them for synchros, but honestly, you just kind of boost attack if you need it. Then we got 1 Rush Warrior. Rush Warrior is interesting. During damage calculation, in either player's turn, if a warrior or synchro monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and that battling monster's attack becomes double its current attack during the damage calculation only. You can banish this card from the graveyard and target one Synchron monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So, not bad. It kind of gets you a Synchron monster back, sets more Synchro plays, and doubles the attack. So if you can use it in the right situation, you could do some pretty big damage. Kind of cool. I got one Synchron carrier. During the main phase, you can normal summon one Synchron monster in addition to your normal summoner set to basically get an extra summon out of him, if it's a Synchron monster. And then if another Synchron monster sets to your graveyard as a Synchro material for the Synchro summon of a warrior or machine type Synchro monster while you control this card, special a token. So it just kind of gets stuff on the field. But I like the extra summon for a Synchron. Kind of gets you more tuning plays and Synchro monsters too. Got one Doppel Warrior. I think you guys know what Doppel Warrior does. And I got one Effect Veiler, the other tuner. Doesn't really count as a tuner though. And then Swift Scarecrow. And that is it for the monsters in this deck. So because of the high monster count, obviously spells and traps not that great, or not that many I should say, but we got 2 Pot of Duality. I know, not the same rarity, I'm sorry, but it's pretty good when it comes to cycling. This deck is very good when it comes to cycling itself through and getting cards you need to your hand. And this card obviously helps with that a lot because, you know, Pot of Duality is pretty much just a staple in almost every deck you want to use that requires drawing. And one MST, I'm running only 1 right now. I might add it to 2, but honestly this deck's pretty good in terms of destroying back row. So maybe I'm still deciding on that one. I got one Dark Eruption, target one dark monster with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard, add it to your hand, so get basically junk Synchron back to your hand if you want it. But there's so many ways to do that anyway. Plus I'm running 3 of them, so Reinforcing the Army, and then Warrior Returning Alive. Those are pretty much staple cards there. Got Magic Mallet just because I like this card. It's fun. But it's also kind of helpful when it comes to shuffling. Then I got one for one. Now 1 for 1's important because we have the Jet Synchron, we got the Turbo Synchron, and Level Leader. So if you want to set up plays that way, this card's very good for that. But that's just one of the reasons I have those level 1s in there. I mean, I could just use Quick Draw for all of them, but I think 1 for 1's good when it comes to, you know, drawing what you need to. And you can kind of choose your, you know, pick your strategies that way. And then we got one Night Beam for the end of the spells. And now we got the traps. I'm running 2 Scrap Iron Scarecrow in proper Yusei fashion. There you go. Scrap Iron Scarecrow is really good. If you don't know what this card does, it's kind of an older card. When an opponent's monster declares attack, target attacking monster negate the attack and then set this card face down again. Yeah, so you could pretty much use it once per turn. So if you got 2 of the cards, you can use it twice, I guess, per turn. But interesting. Not the best card in the world, but it's just kind of a cool stalling card. Then I got one Scrap Iron Statue. Similar effect, but it destroys back row instead. If like a face-up back row is activated, then it destroys the face-up back row. So that's kind of cool. I got one Spirit Force. Spirit Force is kind of a cool card. Activate during damage calculation during your opponent's turn. Take no battle damage from that battle, and you get one Warrior type tuner with 1500 or less defense from your graveyard to your hand. So that includes Quick Draw, because it is 1400. So pretty much whatever Synchron Warrior you want, you can get there. Got one Confusion Chaff. I don't know how to say this properly. Probably saying it wrong, but I love this card. People don't see this card coming. I think it's fantastic. Activate only when your opponent declares a second direct attack during the same battle phase. Conduct battle between the attacking monster and the first monster that attacked you. And then if it's more attack, your opponent takes damage and so on and so forth. Monsters get destroyed that way. So this card's really cool because it just kind of throws people off. They do not see that coming at all. And they can really hurt themselves if they're trying to get greedy with taking out your life points. So a pretty good, switching curveball card. Got one called the Haunted. This card is kind of a dead draw sometimes, but honestly, it's never a bad card to have. Never know when you need it. If your synchros get destroyed, it could be helpful, but I would not use this on a normal monster because, I guess you could, but kind of a waste that way. I wait for a synchro, but that's just me personally. Then I got 2 Secret Blast. You guys already know I love this card. Just some nice chip damage. This deck's all about dealing damage. Just nice chip damage, never hurts anybody. Plus it's fun to use. Got one Fiendish Chain, got one Magic Cylinder, more chip damage, and we got one Solemn Warning. And that's it for the traps. And now we have the extra deck. The extra deck, all synchros. Not one Xyz, Fusion, or yeah, I guess that's it. Rituals go on the main deck. Anyway, yeah, this deck is basically relying upon synchros. There are definitely Xyz monsters I could throw into the mix here, but I'm not going to because I just like the synchros. But they all the synchro monsters honestly cover each other's backs with what their effects can and can't do, so I'm really not worried about it too much when it comes to that. Anyway, we got one Junk Warrior. I'll read the effects because some people don't know. If this card is synchro summon, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all level 2 or lower monsters you currently control. So he starts at 2300 and then can gain from there. Got one Excel Synchron. Excel Synchron is really good because it's a Synchron tuner monster. It helps you get bigger guys in this deck also. So you could become the level, increase the card's level by 1. Oh no, okay. Send one Synchron monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then increase the level by the level of that Synchron, or decrease the card's level by the level of that monster. So really, you could just basically get him down to level 4 if you want to, level 2 if you want to. So kind of cool that way. Then off of Jet Synchron, we got Jet Warrior. If this card is synchro summon, you can target one card your opponent controls, turn it to the hand. If this card's in your graveyard, you can contribute one level 2 or lower monster. Special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. So kind of similar to Quillbolt, but not really. So yeah, it's not bad. It's 2100. It's okay for level 5. You get it out quickly, which is nice. So there you go. Then we got the nice Ultimate Rare Turbo Warrior. I love this card. When this card attacks level 6 or higher synchro monster, half the monster's attack till the end of the damage step. So not really that good anymore. And some decks still use synchros, but 2500 as it is. So it's not too bad of a card. Plus it's level 6, so it's kind of easy to get out. Then you got Junk Archer. You have to love Junk Archer. One of the best cards in terms of screwing over your opponent. Once per turn, you can select one monster your opponent controls, remove that monster from play. During the end phase of the turn, it returns your opponent's out of the field. So you basically just empty their board for a turn and then do some damage. And then they get it back, but you do that nice damage in between. Got one Nitro Warrior. Yeah, I'm not running Nitro Synchron. I'm running Quick Draw 4 Nitro. Because getting level 3 is not going to actually be getting level 2 is not going to be that hard to do in this deck to get Nitro if I want to get him. Once during each of your turns, if you activate a spell card, this card gains 1000 attack during its next attack. And once per turn, this card, if this attacking card destroys the opponent's monster from a battle, you can change one face-up defense position monster to attack position and then attack it again. I can't read, so it's weird kind of print. It's like a special kind of, I don't know, just small. But anyway, yeah, gains 1000 attack and then change defense to attack and then attack again. So really just kind of OP in that aspect if you can use it properly. Got one Black Rose Dragon. I got Road Warrior. Once per turn, special summon one level 2 or lower warrior type or machine type monster from your deck. So not too bad. Plus he's 3000 attack, so he's pretty strong. You got Junk Destroyer, destroy cards up to the number of non-tuner monsters used to make them. They got 2 Stardust Dragon, because, and then we got 1 Stardust Spark Dragon, 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust Warrior. This card is really interesting. 1 tuner synchro monster, so that's where Excel comes in. Excuse me. And his effect is, during your player's turn, if your opponent will special summon a monster, you contribute this card, negate the summon if you do destroy that monster. During the end phase of this card, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, special summon this card from your graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle, or this face-up card you control leaves the field because of your opponent's card effect, special summon 1 level 8 or lower warrior synchro monster from your extra deck. So there you go. Good recycling card that way. Plus you get him back for some negation stuff. So kind of cool. And then we got Shooting Star Dragon because it's Shooting Star Dragon. And this guy's effect is literally a paragraph, but pretty much everybody knows what he does. So another, again though, a tuner synchro monster. So Excel. And there is the entire extra deck. And then we just got some cool tokens here. A few custom made ones. And we got this one that I did from the deck opening a couple of days ago. I think it just looks kind of cool, so I added it in here. But there you go. So anyway, that is it for the whole deck. I have one card as a side deck. I took it out of the main deck because it really was not that helpful, but this is it. Starlight Junction. It's a field spell. It's not terrible. Tribute 1 tuner monster, especially summon 1 synchro monster from your deck with a different level than tributed monster. During your opponent's turn, if you special summon a synchro monster from your extra deck, target 1 card on the field to shuffle into the deck. So you can kind of bounce your opponent. You bounce your opponent's cards and get synchrons. But it kind of came a dead draw because I never really needed to use it. So I figured I'd put another Pile of Duality in there instead, and if I ever have to, I could take something out for it. But as of right now, that's the only extra deck card I have, because I like this deck a lot with consistency. It's really good that way. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this deck profile like you did the last one. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll come at you guys with more deck profiles really soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. Crazy Ninja 9 Ninja the G, signing out.